Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Good morning, everybody. I would like to thank the university for giving us the opportunity to present our work on the institutional and program assessment. And I guess few of you were or did attend the symposium that we had last year in October 2013, and we have developed the work further on this project, and now we are presenting to you the latest developments. The aims of this project include awareness of the role of the OAAA in Oman higher education, and understanding the context for the development of institutional and program standards and standards assessment, and learning about the standards, feature, what they cover and how they are organized, and understanding of what accreditation means and the benefits of being accredited. I'll talk briefly about Oman Academic Accreditation Authority, OAAA. OAAA is an independent body. We report to the Education Council. The authority was established in 2011 as Oman Accreditation Council, and then it was replaced by OAAA by a royal decree in 2010. It is led by 9 Omani board members. 2 of them are currently from SQU. OAAA aims to provide confidence to the public that the quality of higher education in Oman meets international standards. Also, OAAA has the mandate or expected to encourage continuous improvement in the management of the quality of higher education. We are responsible for accreditation of all academic programs and institutional accreditation and maintaining the Oman qualification framework. This is our website. It's www.oaaa.gov.om, and we have all our documentations are uploaded on our website. We have, I don't know how to use this. Yeah. All our activities are here, our vision, mission. All the reports that we have produced so far in quality audit, including SQU report, can be downloaded from here. And this project that we are going to present today is also available on the website. Basically, all our processes and procedures are available on website, and we have also training material related to quality, which is available on the website. I'll talk briefly about the external quality assurance in Oman's higher education sector. This can be looked at as three generations. In the 1990s, there were, of course, SQU was established in 1986, but prior to that, there were public colleges mainly concerned with health, education, and the College of Technology. It used to be called colleges, technical and industrial colleges. There were regular supervision so quality was maintained through supervision from the responsible ministries, like Ministry of Health, Ministry of Manpower, and Ministry of Higher Education, except, of course, SQU is not supervised by any ministry. The model used for quality assurance at that time, we consider it to be a compliance model with limited focus on institutional development, developing their own internal quality assurance and quality enhancement systems. The next generation starts in 2001, where Oman Accreditation Council was established, and the first document related to the requirement of quality system in Oman was developed and published in 2004, which is called Requirement of Oman System for Quality Assurance, which we call ROSCA. And this document has been available for 10 years now, and all institutions have worked with this document. In 2004-2005, OIC conducted the first accreditation exercise for 2 private colleges. And the third generation starts with the review of ROSCA, because none of these colleges got accreditation. The private sector was new, and the self-study submitted to OIC indicated that the system or the institutions are not ready for accreditation based on international standards. So we needed to look at our system, our standards, and we conducted a comprehensive review in 2006, and we developed the National Quality Plan, which is available on our website. And from that study, we found that the sector needs to be trained so that the quality of their practices will be up to the international standards. And also we need to look at our standards themselves and try to contextualize them. So from that review, the institutional accreditation was changed to a 2-stage system. The first stage is quality audit, which SQ has gone through, and the second stage is called standards assessment. And also a national quality training program was developed, and institutions and Oman Quality Network in Higher Education was established, and institutions were invited to nominate representatives to be members in that quality network, and all the material related to the training workshops conducted at that time are still available on our website. In 2010, the Oman Accreditation Authority was established to replace OIC. The Oman Accreditation Council, although had an independent board of directors, it was the technical secretariat was linked to the Ministry of Higher Education. Now, in line with international good practice, the quality agencies need to be independent from the ministries. So another royal decree was issued in 2010 to make OAAA fully independent from Ministry of Higher Education. We work in collaboration with Ministry of Higher Education, but we do not report to Ministry of Higher Education. We report directly to the Education Council. Now I'll talk a little bit about or introduce the standards assessment project. This project was initially started in 2011, and the current stage of the project, which includes both institutional and program standards assessment, this stage started in 2013, and it involved the following steps. We did international benchmarking, and then we developed the conceptual design frameworks for both the program and institutional accreditation. The draft versions were circulated to the sector, and we got feedback from the sector. We conducted a national symposium in October 2013, and then these standards were uploaded on our website. We had discussion board to receive feedback, and we presented the revised draft to the sector in March 2014. And our plan is to conduct pilots by the end of this year. We really did extensive international benchmarking, and I have put one definition here for benchmarking taken from Harvey. This is the glossary that is available with the INQUA, the International Network for Quality Assurance Agencies in Higher Education. And we have used the benchmarking for developing both the institutional and program accreditation standards, and the processes themselves for accreditation were benchmarked against good international practice. We looked at more than 50 benchmark organizations in different parts of the world, including GCC, Europe, Middle East, and in other countries, UK and Europe. In terms of consultation, we formed a national committee, we call it consultative committee, which has representation from all 60 higher education institutions in Oman, including all SQU, of course, and all other private and public institutions. And we have appointed a panel of international quality assurance experts from UAE, Bahrain, Malaysia, USA, Australia, UK, and Germany. And we are working in partnership with Ministry of Higher Education, so we have continuous dialogue with the ministry, and we have Ministry of Higher Education, who supervises all the private institutions. We have 26 private higher education institutions in Oman. We also have dialogue with other stakeholders, including the Education Council, the Ministry of Manpower, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Defense, and Ministry of Higher Education. All these ministries are involved in supervision of some higher education institutions. We have published the drafts of the standards and the processes for accreditation on our website with discussion board. And as I said earlier, we conducted a national symposium in October 2013, and the last consultation with the sector was in March 2014. Now, these are the institutions that provided feedback to on the standards and the processes for accreditation for both institutions and programs, and including SQU, of course. Now, I'll talk briefly about the quality assurance process for institutions. Any institution to operate in Oman needs to have a license. Private institutions get the license from through the Ministry of Higher Education, but the ultimate authority that decides on the licensing is the Education Council. Public institutions are normally licensed by the supervising ministry. Of course, SQU was licensed through a royal decree. So after we started the first cycle of institutional accreditation in 2008, and as I said earlier, the institutional accreditation has two stages. The first stage is called quality audit, where we look at the strategic plan of the institutions and their goals and objectives, and assess these institutions against their goals and objectives. So there is no pass or fail. Institutions receive reports, quality audit reports, and the reports are also uploaded on our website, and the reports have commendations, recommendations, and affirmations. Sorry. The second stage, after 4 years, the institutions are subject to, or they go through the second stage of accreditation, which is standards assessment. And this is what we are talking about today. We will be talking about the standards and the process for accreditation. In this stage, the institutions are assessed against external standards that are prepared by OAAA, based on international benchmarks and consultation with the higher education sector in Oman. So if an institution meets these standards, it gets the accreditation certificate. And then after 4 years, it goes back to the quality audit again. But if it does not meet the standards, then the institution is put on probation for a year or two, and then reassessed. If it shows that it has made significant progress towards achieving the standards, it may be given another year and kept on probation and then reassessed. If it meets the standards, then it will be given the accreditation certificate and go back to the cycle. If it does not meet the accreditation, then the accreditation exercise will be terminated and will notify the Education Council. Of course, in line with international good practice, all our processes from quality audit and standard assessment, reassessment, they are all subject to appeal. We have an appeal manual, an appeals committee, and the appeal manual is available on our website. So now, as I said earlier, we are responsible for institutional accreditation and program accreditation. What is the difference between the two? The unit of analysis, of course, in the institutional accreditation is the whole institution. There's a light touch on programs, but the emphasis is on the institution. In the program, the emphasis on the program itself. The standards and criteria are tailored to address institutional level provision or practice in case of institutional accreditation, and they are tailored to address the program provision and practice in case of program accreditation. The panel members, we have, of course, register of external panels, which is available on our website. We have currently about 110 international reviewers from more than 20 countries, and we have 80 local reviewers. Many of them are from SQU and from other institutions. For institutional accreditation, we have 40% of the panel which is local, and 60% international members with broad expertise. We have people from the management, deans, heads of departments, and so on, and people from industry also. Now, for the program accreditation, we'll have local and international members, the same way that we used to do with the institutional audit, some with specialized expertise in programs discipline area. And the judgment, the institutional accreditation makes judgment about the institution as a whole, and the program accreditation makes judgment about a specific program. And these differences are highlighted in the CDF version 3, section 3.3, which is available on our website also. For the program accreditation, the process is similar, but it consists of one stage only. It starts with program licensing. Now, again, for private institutions, the Ministry of Higher Education is responsible for this stage of quality assurance. And for the supervising ministries, for the colleges that are supervised by other ministries, the supervising ministries are responsible for issuing the license. SQU, I guess, do not get license from either Ministry of Higher Education or any other ministry. Although the plan in the future is that all public institutions will have their license from the Ministry of Higher Education. There are some ideas about expanding the mandate of the Ministry of Higher Education. After the graduation of the first cohort, the program goes through program standards assessment. These standards will be talking about them in today's workshop. If the program meets the standards, then it gets the accreditation certificate, and after 5 years, it goes through the cycle again. If it does not meet the standards, it's put on probation for a year or two, and then if it meets the standard, it gets the certificate and then go back to the same cycle. If it does not meet the standards, then the accreditation will be terminated and will notify the supervising ministry and the Education Council. Now, why there is a need for a national system for program accreditation? Usually, national agencies conduct institutional accreditation, but there is a debate on program accreditation. As the Deputy Vice Chancellor has stated in his introduction, that SQU has got international accreditation for some of its programs. In engineering, for example, they got ABET accreditation. So why there is a need for OAAA to accredit program accreditation, programs offered in Oman. And this was a debate during the last symposium. And Dr. Saleh here was against this, or well, he had views, and the university in general had views that, their views were that let us get the international accreditation agencies accredit our programs, but OAAA concentrates on institutional accreditation. So we have amended our CDF to include reasons for accrediting programs by OAAA. The first reason is that OAAA has a mandate by the Royal Decree to develop program accreditation system and to accredit all programs. And national accreditation system establishes nationwide program standards. So all programs will be accredited using the same standards. So the stakeholders will know the quality of the program and be able to compare different programs because they are all assessed by the same agency and assessed against the same national standards. And that is the third point. And it protects HEI and students from accreditation mills. There are hundreds of these accreditation mills, and students will be misled. If an institution has accreditation for X accreditation agency, it could be an accreditation mill. And then the national accreditation system gives students, parents, and employers consistent information on programs and enable meaningful comparisons, as I said earlier. And it gives the government national oversight of quality assurance and improvement systems in higher education institutions at program level to ensure that these are effective. And it supports Oman in the context of internationalization of higher education. For example, this will help international student mobility. So this is briefly why we are doing program accreditation in addition to institutional accreditation. Now, some features of program and standards assessment. The first thing is that we recognize that the responsibility for quality lies with the higher education institutions. The first party responsible for the quality of the institution and the programs it offers is the institution itself. And these standards are based on ROSCA. ROSCA, the document that was developed by OAC in 2004, which was internationally benchmarked, and we reviewed it, and we felt that it needs to be contextualized and to include other areas that it did not include, and we needed more benchmarking. So we base our work on ROSCA, but it includes, incorporates standards areas that are not included in ROSCA, for example, academic integrity. The institutional and program standards are aligned with the same 9 areas that are available or that are indicated in the Quality Audit Manual. The standards are internationally benchmarked and reviewed and acknowledge the diversity of provision in Oman. They encourage excellence. The institutions can achieve accreditation with merit, overall or at a standard level. So if an institution is doing well at an institutional level, that performance will be acknowledged either at a standard level or as an institution as a whole. Of course, this is also applicable to program accreditation. It encourages the use of ADRI, the model that was used in quality audit, approach, deployment, results, and improvement. It's developed through consultative process, and it takes into account national initiatives and protocols such as entrepreneurship, human rights, health, and safety. The benefits of accreditation. Accreditation provides official recognition that an HEI meets internationally benchmarked and contextualized standards. It provides public recognition of the good standing of the HEI and promotes international recognition of Omani graduates and international students' mobility. It enables HEIs to benefit from feedback, support, and advice on the maintenance of academic standards and quality through the reports they receive from the OAAA. It encourages quality improvement, provides independent information on the institution to students, prospective students, the public, government bodies, and other stakeholders. The accreditation also enables the higher education institutions to state publicly that they meet international, external and independent standards. This is good for marketing purposes for the private institution. SQ does not need that. And it may have impact on allocation of scholarships because Ministry of Higher Education provides scholarships to private institutions. Now, they have a criteria, and one criterion could be the accreditation. This is the scope of the institutional program standards. We have 9 areas, from governance and management to general support services and facilities, and all institutions have been audited against, well, these 9 areas, which cover the whole institution. Now, the second stage of accreditation is aligned to these 9 areas also. Now, the standards are organized in a way that we have 9 standards, and these 9 standards are related to these 9 areas. So for each area, we have 1 standard, and each institution or a program have to meet these 9 standards in order to obtain accreditation. Each standard has a number of criteria, and all related criteria need to be met by the institution or the program in order to achieve accreditation. Now, each criteria has a number of indicators. Now, these indicators are just indicators to inform the institution and the program what is required to meet a criterion. And institutions, we have more than 240 or something like that. And institutions can add their own indicators to show that they are meeting any of the criteria. Now, for each criterion and standard, each criterion and standard will be assessed, and it will be rated according to this scale: 4 for excellent, 3 for good, and 2 for satisfactory, and 1 not met. And as I said, if a standard is not met, then the institution or the program will not get the accreditation. And all these ratings are well defined, and my colleagues will go through this in detail. We have definition for each rating, and then we have the characteristics for each rating, so that this will be clear to the institutions when they assess themselves, and will be clear to the panels that conducts the external review of the institution or the program. These will be explained in details by one of my colleagues. And how do we report the results of the accreditation? Of course, the first stage of institutional accreditation was quality audit, and we had our reports public on our websites. For the standards assessment, we are not planning to have public reports, but the results of the accreditation will be available on our website, and the assessment of each criterion and standards will be also available on our website. So the achievement of each institution or program will be all available. All 75 criteria will have rating from OAAA, and they will be all available on our website. Stakeholders will be able to compare the performance of different institutions going to our database and different programs at the same time. And this way, we can avoid the league tables, which are based on arbitrary weightage for different standards and so on. So therefore, if the rating is available for any program or any institution, the user can put the weight on each criterion. Suppose that the user is not interested in governance and management. They will put 0 as the weight for governance and management, and then they'll put, for example, 20% on quality of teaching, 10% on assessments, and so on. And the program itself will rank the institutions, the program available on the website will rank the institution from the best to the institution that is of a lower quality. Or either this can be done to the institutions and to the programs. This way we are avoiding putting arbitrary weights. Now, the agency that ranked SQU last year was QS, and they presented the results last year, and they said that SQU performance has gone down from the previous assessment, and I had a debate with them, and they said, how do you put, I mean, these weightages are all arbitrary, and statistics or research show that the validity of statistics is questionable, because some institutions, if they want to apply this in Oman, for example, they have weight on internationalization. Now, SQU mission is not to educate international students. This is a national university. We focus on educating Omanis. So SQU will lose some marks on that. And so on. There are some institutions here that focus on teaching, other institutions that focus on research. So how do you decide on the weight? You put 30% on research, but this may not be applicable to a college here in Oman. So in our system, we try to give this decision to the user so that the user can put the weightage on different criteria and then get the ranking accordingly. Now, the status of any HEI or a program will be shown on our website, and it could be any of these, either licensed, and this comes from the Ministry of Higher Education or the supervising ministry, or audited. For example, SQU is licensed by a royal decree and audited by OAAA. And then, if it goes through the second stage of accreditation and fails accreditation, it will be on probation. If it meets the standards, it will be accredited. If it is doing well in one or more standard, then it will be accredited with merit on that particular standard. If it is doing very well in all standards, then it will be accredited with merit. And if it does not meet any of the standards, then it will not be accredited. So these are the outcomes of the accreditation, and this is applicable to both institutions and programs. Now, what are our next steps? We are planning to do institutional accreditation. We have already 2 institutions have volunteered to go through that pilot standards assessment, and these are Scientific College of Design and Sohar University. And we are doing also 2 pilots for programs, one from Dhafar University and the other one is from Caledonian College. And then we are going to publish the national schedule for institutional and program accreditation fairly soon on our website. Well, we will notify the institutions and then we'll publish it on our website. And then we'll get the final approval of standard assessment and standards for the programs and institutions and the assessment processes after the pilots, because we want to learn from these pilots, and we may amend our standards and the CDFs based on the results of the audits, and then our board needs to approve the standards assessment process. And then we'll publish the manuals, and we'll do regional training for the institutions, just like we did with the pilot. We had, with the quality audit, we had 4 regional training workshops. And we will train the local external reviewers to be able to participate in standards assessment exercises for both institutions and programs. You will have a copy of this presentation, and these are the references if you want to look at them. And you can have a look at our website, and all our emails are available on our website. You can contact us if you have any questions. Thank you very much.